Abu Hurayra, we will call him here Abu Kitty, seems more fitting. Abu Kitty came from Yemen, and it was told he converted in the 7th year Hijri. He was very poor and crashed in the mosque with the rest of the homeless bunch of the time. This guy supposedly spent a very short period of time with Muhammad, some say few months, others say about 2 to 3 years. Common consensus splits the difference to about a year and a half. Most likely few months is what seems right, considering the serious level of uncertainty surrounding someone supposedly has this high profile and notoriety. This disciple of Muhammad was not mentioned in any of the records describing the period of Muhammad's death. His absence introduced doubt if he ever met Muhammad. This proposition needs more probing, but sure dents Abu Kitty's status of being too close to Muhammad. Now, the point of disagreement and the obvious accusations surrounding this character revolves around the absurd number of hadiths, also known as Muhammad's sayings and deeds, he collected. So this guy supposedly compiled detailed teaching of Muhammad in the busiest time of his life, running several wars and raids, and managing a growing army and state. Abu Kitty somehow had time to talk to Muhammad and drill him for religious topics, and gather over 5,000 of his sayings and deeds, which made him later a top scholar on the Sunnah. His defenders attribute magical powers to him for possessing a powerful memory, but his contemporaries accused him of falsifying and creating whatever suits his Umayyad masters and whatever serves his financial aspiration. By the way, the Caliph Omar appointed him a mayor of Bahrain, and he returned loaded with cash. Omar confronted him and confiscated half of his possessions, just a thing to mention. Abu Kitty, the guy who praised himself for pursuing knowledge at the expense of his well-being, enduring hunger by strapping a rock over his belly, he sure ended up rich, living in a castle gifted to him by Muawiyah, the Umayyad Caliph who knew how to play him. He often invites him over and prepares his favorite dish before steering him, or inspires him to compose narratives in favor of the Umayyad clan, or at least reinterpret existing ones towards that direction. Abu Kitty sure had his weak spot, his belly, forever hungry. This proves that Omar knew what he was doing when he forbade Abu Kitty from teaching the hadiths in the mosque. It is worth noting that writing hadiths was forbidden by Muhammad, and Omar took that command seriously, knowing that a pragmatist such as Abu Kitty can take advantage of it in a sensitive time where newcomers to the religion, while new territories are conquered, can be vulnerable to be influenced by false narratives. Out of the 5,000 plus sayings Abu Kitty delivered, roughly 500 of them were approved and quoted in the main books of Hadith such as Bukhari and Muslim. It seems they had to weed out a bunch of nonsense. To some scholars he borrowed heavily from Jewish traditions and Talmudic teachings. Something not far-fetched if you observe Islam today. It's obvious that this religion is a cheap copy of the Jewish religion. Perhaps this explains the Islamic eternal hatred of the Jews. Their existence is a reminder of the copyright infringement Muhammad and his followers committed in order to create their own religion. Anyhow, most of the stuff Abu Kitty narrated did not go well with the first generation. Note that he is responsible for comparing women to donkeys and dogs, to which Aisha, Muhammad's wife, replied in disgust, "We are now compared to donkeys and dogs." Aisha also accused him of lying, and confronted him in many occasions about some hadiths that her and others never heard Muhammad say. In his arrogance, he accused her of being too busy with a mirror and mascara, which sounds more like an insult towards the mother of the faithful. Abu Hanifa said about Abu Kitty, he quotes the Prophet without checking the content and without consideration of abrogation. This guy got his name because of a kitten he keeps around. He seemed to like cats, which explains the hadiths he made up against dogs, which dogs still suffer from their effects till this day in Muslim countries. He seemed to have the same animosity against women. He was constantly confronted by Aisha, which caused him lots of embarrassment. He made sure to leave a trail of hadiths that are still responsible for hardships for women everywhere. This character may be responsible for the biggest prank in history. His work created the disfigured Muslim identity we witness today.